Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Amanda, also known as Dramatic Mandy.
And today is Monday, September 24th, 2018. This is episode 316. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more episode. And if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show and you'll come back in the future. So how have you all been? Sorry, it is not a Sunday recording again. I got home from traveling yesterday and I was exhausted with a slight headache, so we postponed till tonight. But I'm sure you're none the wiser. You've got plenty of other podcasts to watch. So how have you all been? I hope good as you're transitioning, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, into autumn. We are officially into autumn. It's fall, y'all. It is fall, y'all. So it's crazy. Did you know it's like really autumn? I know some of the leaves are starting to fall, and the Big Apple and Pork Festival in our town, if you're a longtime viewers, you know, happens annually in our town, is this weekend. You're excited. Your friend's coming. You're gonna...
Oh, she doesn't know about it yet, so who knows? I don't care about it as much as Mom does.
You gotta get the donuts.
No, those are disgusting.
Oh, they're delicious.
I don't like them.
And the cheese fries.
They're disgusting as well.
I'm not gonna be here to enjoy them.
They're too salty.
I'm gonna be gone from Thursday night till Tuesday night. Dogs aren't even gonna know who I am anymore. Anyway, let's do a quick 2 weeks in review recap for myself. I have been to Ohio and I have been to Wisconsin. Wisconsin. So it's been a lot of traveling for myself. That's not going to change here in the future. But last we spoke, we were getting ready to go to the wool gathering in Yellow Springs, Ohio. It was our first year attending, and it was hot. It was like 97 degrees in a tent with no lighting, and we were luckily on the outside of the tent, like on the perimeter, so we were able to open up the flaps, which brought in a little bit of breeze, but also brought in the sun, and so I have nice farmer's tan on my legs, on the back of my calves, which was fun. We were literally, for most of Saturday, standing at the register with Rubbermaid tub lids on our legs because, yeah, we were trying to avoid said sun. But it was a great event. We had a great time. Everybody who raved about the cheese curds and ice cream were very much correct, and we enjoyed both on both days. It was a lovely event, and in fact, we signed up to come back next year. Unfortunately, I have not emailed them yet. We realized after we got home that is the same weekend as the Knitting at the Estate retreat that we're going to be putting on next September. And while we tried to change the date, that didn't really work because they're fully booked at this event hall or estate that we're having it at. So unfortunately, we were going to try to manipulate it to be able to bend and do the retreat, and I think that's just too much. So hopefully the following year in 2020, we can make sure not to double book ourselves for that event. So hopefully we'll be back at Yellow Springs in 2020. And then it was just a quick whirlwind at home, dyeing yarn and hanging out with this one. Andy had to go back home to Indiana and pick up his dad and then go to Indianapolis for a doctor's appointment. It looks like his dad is going to be having either a heart transplant or an LVAD put in, which was the case before, and then they thought, they could manage it with medication. They don't think that's the case anymore, but he's essentially got to run a few more tests, and then his dad's got to make the decision which one he wants to go for. So it does look like his dad may most likely be moving in with us for a number of weeks. When? I don't know, because if he does the heart transplant, it could be 2 years before a heart becomes available. So, that being said, so Andy was gone. Mandy hung out with me that night. That was good fun. We watched a movie, which was decently good, I think, but we'll talk about that later. And then Andy and I headed up on Friday morning bright and early to Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin for the Knit for Fun retreat, which is hosted by Ann Budd, who is a delightful woman. And so we got there a little later than we anticipated. It's about a 6-ish hour drive, and we hit 2 patches of really bad traffic. There was a part, if you know I-55 in Illinois, that there was an overturned semi, and they had closed both lanes, and you had to actually get over onto the shoulder. And so it took us an hour to go about 1 mile at that point. So we were about 2 hours later than we wanted to be. And then there was some issues at the retreat that they wanted to open the market earlier, and we're like, can't do it. So they had to reschedule some stuff. But it was a great retreat from what I had heard, and we had a really good time. It was a nice kind of chill market experience. And Andy and I got to go walk around in downtown Sturgeon Bay, and we had some sushi, because I'm now a sushi eater. I had it in Yellow Springs, and I had it in Sturgeon Bay. And Mandy rolls her eyes because I definitely like the tempura fried sushi. And she's like, that's not real sushi. Well, whatever. But it was good. So, yeah. And they had to put us up at a different hotel, which was really nice. The Stone Harbor Inn. And we had breakfast there both days. And yeah, so we drove back yesterday. But Andy was lovely again and drove the whole 6 hours home, so that I could work on my sweater. And we stopped in Bloomington at Famous Dave's, and I had a Dave's Sassy Salad, which was sassy and so good. I know, I had a salad.
What's on that salad? Because I had a very overpriced salad there on Valentine's Day this year, and it was just like iceberg lettuce and like some chicken.
You had your choice of meat. I had the pulled barbecue chicken, but it comes with like a honey barbecue dressing and some potato straws, and I didn't get lettuce, or I didn't get
No
tomato,
lettuce.
And they have cheese on it, and that was about it. But it was
like
delicious.
iceberg?
Ish.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was like $13 for a salad, and I was like, I can make this.
See, I got the lunch
3.
portion, and it was like 7 something, but then I also got a bowl of their soup.
Oh.
And it came with a cornbread muffin
Yeah.
with the salad. So the regular portion, I think, was like $10. So, but and then we had some bread pudding. We enjoyed some bread pudding. So yeah, and then that's pretty much been my 2 weeks. About a lot of traveling and eating food and things. So what have you been up to? It's been a little while since we've seen you.
For the past 2 weeks.
Well, we haven't seen you in a month, but.
Well, I can't remember that. Working here. Last weekend. What did I do last weekend? I can't remember yesterday, guys.
Didn't you volunteer somewhere?
I don't know. It was something, but I went and saw my friend Randa. The greatest thing is she's I consider her my best friend, my closest of like people that I say best friend, because we've known each other since middle school. And she moved to Monticello, which is, I don't know, I drive fast, so it took me like 30 minutes to get
It's like
there.
35 minutes. It's where our retreat's going to be held next year.
So this is the first time that I've gotten to actually go inside her house and whatnot. So we spent that Saturday together, and it's nice because she has a calendar in her kitchen, and we sat there and planned out like days that we're gonna see each other, and she wrote my name on the calendar, and it's cute. Then what? I don't remember.
I don't know either. You've been watching the dogs a lot because you've been traveling.
Yes.
So the Instagram feed of Ernie_and_Corny, right?
Yes.
On Instagram that she runs for our 2 dogs, that she dog sits like more than we actually live with them, has been blowing up with cute videos and photos and stuff. So definitely check that out.
They're my loves. That was like this weekend when I was watching them, because I take them, we stay here all day, but then I take them to my house to sleep with me like at night. And I'm in a queen size bed, so there's plenty of room for them, but they like to take up the entire bed anyway. But in the morning, they like to come up by my head. So Ernie will come and lay on my pillows next to my face, usually his butt to my face, and then Corny will come lay like right here, and like we spoon, and then Ernie's up there and I'm holding his paw. It's so cute. But
so we definitely got her a mug this weekend while we were shopping in downtown
yeah.
that says like dogs are my favorite people, and
I used it this morning for my coffee.
she was all about that dog coffee mug life.
Yeah, I have a great life. I just hang out with dogs all the time. That's about it.
And play with yarn. And now that you're into yarn, it's kind of cool. Maybe sometimes.
Sure.
Anyway, so yeah, just a lot of dogs and yarn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, let's get to the knitting. I do not have a finished object. Nothing's taking a bow for me this week. I was close. I still didn't finish that hat, but I'll show it to you. And I wanted to finish the sweater, but I didn't force myself to stay up half the night last night, so. But I hear someone over here does. You have a finished object, don't you? Except it's not blocked. We're going to block it maybe when we're done recording or tomorrow morning.
So, yeah.
It's her first big finished object.
Yesterday I was dog sitting and waiting for them to come home, and I was trying to get it done, and my phone starts ringing, and it's like on the charger in the other room, and I'm binding off, and I'm like, screw it, I'm not answering the phone. I don't care who it is. Yeah, I finished my Lumina Wrap, guys. It's so
Lumina.
It
And
won't
it'll
fit
open
in
up a
here.
lot more once it's blocked, but it
Yeah.
still looks really nice. And so this is by Amber O'Brien.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you used what yarns?
I used Leading Men Fiber Arts yarn,
What base?
Showstopper, the regular skein for the smoky quartz, the main color, and then the garter bands I used a bunch of minis.
So this first color is...
We've got Gothic Queen. Is that the Haunted Wood?
The Haunted Wood, yep.
Eternal Kiss.
Which is discontinued, unfortunately.
Is that Shadows in the Trees? I think so.
Yeah.
Which one is this?
Blue Steel?
Yeah, maybe. Blue Steel, and then Fortune Teller at the end.
Yeah. I think that was a good choice.
And I would have been done a little while ago because it only calls for, like, this much.
For 5 skeins, and I was like, well, why not? You have enough of the main color yarn. Why not add 6 since we sell 6 color sets?
But I do actually really like it because you have, like, the 3, like, purplish, pinky, whatevers, and then, like, the blue-greens. 3 of them.
So, yeah, we're excited because this is hers, but she's going to let us use it as a shop sample, and we're going to kit this up and get the patterns and everything. And she did flip. The lace uses the main color, whereas the garter uses the contrast, and so we'll put that note in the kits when we
Moment of
get it.
silence. I finished my first big project.
And then it's going to be on to the next pretty soon.
Yeah, I wanted to start yesterday, but I need to have a chat with you because I'm still unfamiliar with some things, and I need to make sure I do things correctly.
Awesome.
But, yeah.
Looks good. We'll have to. I told her, I said we're going to have to go out and get some modeled shots of some finished objects between the two of us here soon. So rather than just taking a quick snip snap picture, I've been trying to hoard things until we have enough to go out and actually do. I think it'll look cute.
It can be a blanket. I want to wear it like a scarf though.
Yeah.
But well,
Awesome.
I guess a mannequin will be wearing it for a while or whatever, or maybe you'll lay it out or something.
It'll probably be in a mannequin. Just because it looks good.
Want to see some detail? Look, I did that lace, guys. I did that. Okay, sorry.
First fingering weight project. First lace.
Yeah, binding off. It was so I've always just done one bind off because I don't know. It was the first video I saw on YouTube. And then yesterday I was trying to find one that's like a nice like loose one because I
Stretchy.
noticed the one I was doing wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I found one. It was just the knit 2 through the back loop, I think it was. But
Yep.
I think it
and
looks
then
really
put it back
nice.
on. That's
Yeah.
what I pretty much do for all my knits. Unless
Yeah,
I
I'm
really want a sturdy, like if you were doing a sweater and you want like a sturdy seam.
Yeah.
Other than that, I always, all my shawls I bind off that way.
I think
So.
it looks really nice on here, but it was different with how thin the yarn was. I was like, oh, but
Awesome.
I did it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so let's move into what's performing. All right, for me, first up, Cloudless by Suvi Samola. This is using Leading Men Fiber Arts monologue in the Head in the Clouds and Raspberry Parfait colorways. And thank you to those of you who are like, throw in a couple more 3-color rows because I have them. Oops. I'm just going to say it's okay for the shop sample and then...
It makes it unique.
Yep, and whoever gets gifted this will have to be okay with it, and if they're not, they just don't need to be gifted it, right? So I added a few more rows to it. We worked on it while I worked on it while we watched that movie, but
it looks way more obvious in camera.
yeah, it doesn't look that obvious in real life.
And like you can tell in real life, but it's not like in the camera for some reason. It's like my eye is automatically drawn to that, but not in
we
real
know
life.
it's there. So
yeah.
Anyway, it's going, and that's on a size 3 and 4 US, which is 3.25 and 3.5 millimeter needles, and I think I have another like 2 inches to go before I can do the bottom portion. So it's still going. All right. Next up, I forgot to show you this. I was working on it last episode, but one, I didn't know if I could show it to you. I'm assuming I can. I'm doing a test knit for Corey Eichelberger, who is I Rock Knits. She has a new podcast on YouTube called I Rock Knits, and she also has been designing for quite a while under that name. And so she is doing another version of her very famous Knitting at the Library cowl, and this is part 2. Which is lace. So the first one was all textures, and this one is going to do lace. So these Knitting at the Library cowls, if you hold the cowl sideways, it's supposed to look like stacked books because you use, little mini skeins and things like that. And it's a great learning tool because the first one showed you different stitches, and this one now moves you on to lace. And as you progress through the different lace sections, they get more and more challenging. So I'm using Lumina Fiber Arts Showstopper Gradient, which is one of our color sets in brocade dresses and fancy jewels, which looks like that. So it has this deep red, this deep purple brown, dark blue, sage green, blush pink, and then this very kind of champagne-y color. And so what I'm doing is the champagne color is the ribbing at the top and bottom, or the seed stitch, and then I'm going to do the lace sections for each part of the cowl until I did I rip out stitches? No, I didn't. Until I run out of yarn, or maybe like 3 repeats, additional repeats of the pattern. So I just did the seed stitch, and then we're at this simple kind of mesh here, garter mesh. So, working on that very rarely. I need to work on it tonight, I think, a little bit. But yeah, and that's on a size 4 US, which is 3.5 millimeter needle. That seems to be a very popular size for me this week. Next up is my Pop the Cork socks. This is out of Opal in the color number 9286, which is Pop the Cork. That's what it translates to. I'm doing this for Andy's dad for Christmas. This is on a size 1 US 2.25 millimeter needle, and I've shown you before. I've got the first sock done, and I am still the first sock. I am about halfway down the foot. I've already finished up the gusset on the second sock, so they will not match exactly, but yeah, it's a workhorse yarn. It's one of those, Opal's one of those German workhorse yarns. It's not very soft, but it will definitely hold up as socks. So
very durable.
Yep. And I'm knitting that on a size 1 US, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. Next up is my sweater, y'all. I'm gonna have a Rhinebeck sweater. I'm so excited. And I tried it on last night for the first time, and it's gonna be glorious. Doesn't hug any lumps or bumps. It's not oversized. The sleeves, while small, were, a little small, I was worried about. They look great, and they come to the right length on me. And if I roll them, if I push them up, they look excellent. The closure is going to look really cool. I'm working on the shawl color. I got to show you. The colors look really great. Even Andy was impressed, and he's like, you know what? Maybe I'll have you make me a sweater, a cardigan. And he's not a sweater knitter. Or a sweater wearer in general. But yeah, I've been going gangbusters on this. So here is my Brownstone by Jared Flood. This is going to be my Rhinebeck sweater. I'm using Lumina Fiber Arts Box Office in the Independent Will colorway, so it's a worsted weight. And here it is. So the back is a little bit longer. It has some short rows to give you a little bit more room in the back. And the sleeves are here. I did alternate skeins all the way through until the shawl collar. I'm only using one here. I did have to finagle some numbers because my sleeves were not the same count as what should be because I went up the size in the body compared to what I was doing with the sleeve. And so the shawl collar I'm now working. I've got about another 2 inches I've got to do on the collar, and then this will fold back, and I will have my closure to go right here. So, y'all, I'm so excited about this. Hey, you've got a sweater you need to be working on sometime soon too. You're boxy.
Not until
Like that's super easy sweater construction. Yeah.
You say super easy, and no.
That's harder probably than the boxy.
It says easy on it, and I'm looking at it like, huh? No.
I'm talking about what you just finished.
Oh. No?
Yeah.
Because a sweater's like round and stuff.
You did how many hats and things?
Okay, but like a sweater, it's like, I don't know.
Anyway, so I'm super excited about that. That's being knit on a size 6 through 8 US, which is a 4 through 5 millimeter needle. So I should have that done and be wearing that next episode. All right, next and last for me, this episode is Circumvolute by Hunter Hammerson. I'm using Spun Right Round Squish DK in the Bug Jar colorway and size 4 US 3.5 millimeter. No, it's actually on a 6. It's on a 4. But yeah, here I am.
That would be a cute colorway for a little baby sweater.
So, oh, sorry, I got fabric. Goodness. I think I have a few more rows before I start doing the decreases. Yep. That's going. And that's it for me. So what are you working on?
I just finished something, and I'm a monogamous knitter, so I have
But
one.
you're not, because you have one thing.
But this to me is like, it's not, I don't know. It's one of those you just do it when you don't want to have to think about anything, you know, but you want to do something with your hands.
Like socks. What a lot of people knit socks.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I need to move.
Well,
up
this
just a little
is
bit.
just a simple boomerang, and I haven't done that much on it, but
People were loving the color on this when you went to knitting a couple weeks ago.
yeah, I'm okay with it. It's just like, I think I like your like OMG Squee better because this has like, it has like a dark, almost like black, like super dark blue in it, and I'm not a fan of that, but it's okay. It's just something to knit. I think, oh, it looks kind of cool.
I was gonna say, I think it helps make the colors pop, so.
Yeah. Just something to knit. What everyone likes, really, is the way I roll up that ball. They're like, it looks like a rubber band ball, and I'm like, yeah, that's the point. Anyway. That's all I'm doing.
All right, so what's in rehearsal? What are we going to start? I am thinking eventually I'm going to do another sample knit for our booth. I do have some design ideas popping around in my head. We'll just see when those come to fruition. But I do think I'm going to eventually cast on for Bone Set by Jen Lucas. It is a shawl that was designed out of our Diva base, and I think I'm going to use one of our Diva gradients to knit that. It's a bottom-up construction shawl, so we got some patterns in the booth, and I was like, well, I should probably have a sample that helps sell patterns. So I might do that soon. What are you going to cast on?
I forget what it's called. I just call it that thing that I really want. It's called the Color Block Bias Wrap by Suzanne Shaw. And I'm using the recommended yarn, the Classic Elite Yarns Mountaintop Chalet. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Chalet.
Shallot.
It's just a gorgeous little wrap that makes my heart pitter-patter. And like I said, as soon as that wrap was off the needles yesterday, I was like, I got the yarn out. I was like, how can I start this? But I need to have a run through.
You probably start it tonight once I answer any questions you have.
Maybe that's why I canceled plans.
All right, so behind the scenes, my spinning, it's over there. It's still connected to the e-spinner, and it's a loop bump, so I didn't really want to disconnect it. It is, didn't write down all the information. I think it's in the Cryptic colorway that Andy picked up for me at the Michigan Fiber Festival last month for my birthday, so I put it right on the wheel, and I'm still spinning it. It's a 6-ounce bump of like Marina, Angelina, and something else. And I am going to chain ply it to keep the gradient effect. Okay, so let's move into In the Scene Shop, our other crafting. Oh, I forgot to bring my weaving up. I'm almost done with the scarf that I am weaving. There's not much left on the loom to weave with, so hopefully I will have that finished and be able to show that to you next episode. But I am still working on my cross stitch. This is a Dimensions kit called In the Moment. I'm sitting on it. Hold on. I'm sitting on it.
You want me to get it?
Oh, it's caught in the chair. Oh, I'm just making it worse. Oh,
Technical
got it.
difficulties.
Alright, I got it caught in the wheel when I moved my chair, the fabric. Alright, it's all good. It's not part of the... Anyway. So, I finished the word life. I just have a little bit left to do up here, and then I've got a back stitch. So that's where I'm on that. The kit came with a 14 count Ada, but I am doing this on 28 count even weave. So, yeah. Slow but steady wins the race, but I want to do all the objects. So, as you might see in Stash Enhancement, what are you working on?
I'm still doing my colorful cow by Artiste. I forgot to bring it. I was working on it last night, but again, there's not
Are you still in the white?
Yeah. So.
Alright, let's move into In the Spotlight. What are we watching and reading? Andy and I finished watching Castle Rock, which I enjoyed. The ending, I didn't know what to take of it. We'll see if they have a season 2. I would think they could, but it might be like a whole new storyline in the town, maybe. But we'll see. I enjoyed it. We finished last night Altered Carbon Season 1 on Netflix. Again, I don't know if I'm assuming they'll have a Season 2. It seemed very good. Enjoyed it and enjoyed how it all wrapped up.
And how attractive that man is.
And then Amanda and I watched Tuesday night, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, Delirium, which is a Netflix original movie. It stars Topher Grace, I believe that's his name, the guy from That 70s Show. And basically the premise of that was he was released from a mental institution under house arrest to his family's mansion. He had been in this institution for the last 20 years, and his father had committed suicide days before he was released, so he is in this mansion by himself, under house arrest, dealing with some mental things as well as dealing with his past, and there's a lot of family secrets, let's just put it that way. So I enjoyed it. I would probably give it 3.5 to 4 out of 5 stars. If you enjoy a good suspense kind of thriller. So, what did you think of it?
It wasn't bad, just not memorable. Like, I completely forgot that we watched it until I saw that written down.
Yeah.
But, like, it was enjoyable. It's not some, just not.
Yeah, as much as, Netflix is producing stuff now and everybody's producing, there's so much, it's such analysis paralysis when it comes to selecting a new thing, and we've got to select a new show to watch. But we have some ideas tonight of what we want to watch, but, yeah, so. What else are you watching?
Everything.
You've got your list here.
I only wrote a few things down because I didn't want to seem like that person, but let's just say DM me on Instagram if you need some ideas on what to watch. I finished, so I think the 31st of August, the second season of Ozark came out, and that's on Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, just do what I do and mooch off someone else's. But the first season was amazing, and the second season was just as good, if not better. It's Jason Bateman is the main character, and he is a really great actor. Like, he did a lot of comedy stuff, and
he's probably known from Arrested Development a lot, and
yeah, but I feel like a lot of people get into like that they get typecast, and I'm so glad that he didn't, because he is really good in like drama roles. But it's basically, if you haven't heard of it or seen the first season, he is I don't know what you would call it. He's basically into like finance or whatever. He deals with people's money, and he has a partner. They open up some like firm or whatever, and basically his partner gets in with the cartel and does something bad. So now Jason, he basically has an ultimatum. This is the very first season, like first episode. He has an ultimatum of basically getting murdered or helping the cartel. So then it just keeps going. But it's great. You should try it. Next, Peaky Blinders. I'm on the 3rd season. There's 4 right now on Netflix as well. It's fantastic. It just the cinematography and the musical score alone just it's great. It's about gangster kind of in England in like late 1800s, early 1900s. Right now in the 3rd season, they're like in Prohibition era and all that. There's so much that goes on, it's kind of hard to explain without giving anything away. But again, if you have Netflix or any way of seeing it, try it out. You won't regret it. What else did I say? Yesterday was the 3rd episode. So our mom has like Lifetime and Hallmark on a lot on the TV.
It's either true crime.
Well, that's more me, but yeah.
Whenever I'm over there, it's always on.
She watches like ID.
Yeah.
Or she watches Bravo like he does. But she had Lifetime on 3 weekends ago on Sunday. She was watching something, and then it was like a brand new show coming on called You, and she kept it on, and instantly I was invested, and I was like, why am I liking this Lifetime show? But it stars, I don't know how to say his last name, Penn Bagley something, I don't know, he was in Gossip Girl, and then the main girl character, I don't know who she is, but essentially it's kind of interesting because he narrates it in like his thoughts, like he's talking to her. Anyway, he's kind of like a stalker, but at the same time I kind of find myself rooting for him, and then I'm like, wait, no, he's actually really creepy. Like, he is literally wherever she is, but he just is like falling in love with this girl, and he meets her and some things happen, and you know, then people start dying and stuff like that. And yesterday was the 3rd episode, and I'm stuck to the point where, cause I've been stuck watching like these Netflix shows and whatnot, and I haven't been watching a lot of actual TV on television, so I actually put a reminder on my phone, like an alert to tell me every Sunday, like, watch the show. Besides that, those are the main things I've been watching. I just started a new book called, I have it here because I was trying to read it today, called Black Dahlia Avenger, because I think I've said before, I'm really into true crime and murder and things, and this is actually, so I had no idea what this book was about. I went to this, it was called like the biggest garage sale, I don't know. It was this thing they put on basically they probably give the money to charity or whatever or something like that. But the last day on Sunday, you pay $1 for a wristband and you could take whatever you want and leave. So there were a bunch of books and I was grabbing, I just saw Black Dahlia and I was like, might as well. And then I realized I had heard about this guy. His name is Steve Hoddle, but I didn't really know what he was referring to. But anyway, he believes that his father killed her and a bunch of other people. So it's interesting so far, but I'm not very far along, only a couple chapters in, but there's that. Ooh, one other recommendation. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, like not video podcasts, but other podcasts, while working and rescanning and things, and I found a new one called Dr. Death, and if you're into podcasts at all, I didn't even. Oh, it's great. So I'm typically into true crime, and I guess this is kind of like true crime, but it's basically this guy is a spinal surgeon, and this, by the way, happened in 2012, like not very long ago. He's doing a bunch of surgeries on people, and they're essentially dying or becoming paralyzed. He did a surgery on his best friend, and he's permanently paralyzed, and he's not receiving, like, he's not being arrested, he's not being really fired. He's going from like hospital to hospital, and nothing's happening, and it's insane. It's crazy. It's called Dr. Death. It's awesome.
Speaking of death, I did forget to mention the new season of American Horror Story. Apocalypse is out, and I've gotten Andy to watch the season with me. It's the first time he is watching it, and he's actually enjoying it. So the first two episodes are out. So we're watching that. That's on Tuesday nights.
You did start it?
Yeah.
It's good?
Yeah. It's typical American Horror Story, but it's a different take. So, and there's a new show premiering tonight that I think we're going to check out called Manifest. And it's about an airplane that takes off, goes through a storm, and they land. And when they land, they're like, your flight's been missing for 5 years. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Could be cheesy. All right, stash enhancement. I do not have any yarn stash enhancement. I was very good at the retreat, and while there was only 6 vendors at the retreat and at Yellow Springs, I did buy a bunch of soap from Tuft Woolens was at Yellow Springs. That was all I got there. And then I was really good at the retreat. There were 6 vendors. Sun Valley Fibers, whom I have in my stash. So Happy Jane and Lux Adorna Knits, both from Boise, Idaho, who I enjoyed chatting with those ladies. But again, I needed to be good. I wanted stuff from them. Lux Adorna Knits focuses on pure cashmere that they ply in their own, they do their own plying of the yarn. And then What's Up Fiber Co. from California was there. I'd never heard of her. And then Yarn Carnival from Texas was next to us. And but it was good. Chatted everybody up. But I did stop by Hobby Lobby on Tuesday night after Amanda and I did a few errands and had dinner before knitting on Tuesday. And we stopped at Hobby Lobby, and I used my 40% off to finally get the Riolis Starry Night kit. And what sold me was, while it is, yes, a 14 count, and I know there are plenty of other more detailed ones out on the interwebs, especially from like Heaven and Earth Designs. What I had heard from other floss tubes, which are basically podcasts about cross-stitching that I watch, is that Riolis was always known for kitting up their threads and just kind of winding them, and you had to separate them themselves. But this kit is actually, if you can see there, wound off and separated and everything for you. So I was like, all right, that sold me. And so when I get to it, I don't know if you, our Hobby Lobby and craft stores in general don't stock a lot of cross stitch, and let alone cross stitch that I enjoy. So, is what it is. But I was looking on the back, and they're like other Riolis collections, and I don't think they had any of these, or if they did, they only had one of them. But I really like this waterfall one. So if you have that, or know of a good deal, or if you find it at clearance, let me know. I like that waterfall one. It's pretty. So, and I might do this on the 14 count when I get around to it, but I might try the pre-washing to kind of soften it up. It doesn't feel that hard, but it's still pretty stiff. So. Yeah. So that's all that I've picked up. And so let's move along into our giveaway for this week. So this episode, we're going to give away a book that was donated to us by our fairy yarn mother, who often donates to the podcast. And while I do some peddling for prizes when I'm at shows, if you are interested in donating for prizes for the podcast, please get in contact with me, Dramatic Knits on Ravelry, and we'd be more than willing to accept your donation to the podcast to give away in future episodes and knit-alongs and prizes and things like that. But this is a book I, in fact, used to own. This is put out through Interweave Knits. It is Scarf Style by Pam Allen. And it has 31 inspirational styles for you to knit and crochet. This was put out in what year? 2004. So it is a little bit dated, but there's a lot of fun things, different types of scarves you can do in here, and yeah. So in order to be entered to win this copy of Scarf Style, you must, one, be a member of the Dramatic Knits Ravelry group. You must post before we record again in 2 weeks on Sunday, the, 7th or 8th of October. I haven't put the thread up, but the thread will be up in our Ravelry group. And you need to answer the prompt, what qualities do you value most in a friend? I thought that was cute. So, what do you really take to heart when making new friendships? What quality do you value most? So, you can answer there. Only one answer per person, please. Extras will be deleted. And again, be a member of the Ravelry group. So, what quality do you value most in a friend, Amanda?
Honesty.
Honesty.
Although I really need someone that can also handle my sarcasm, because a lot of people are really put off by my sarcasm at first, and I'm like...
Happens to me too.
Yeah.
A lot of people are put off by my RBF when I'm not angry.
Mine too.
I'm just don't have an expression on my face.
One of my closest friends now, when I worked in the dining center at ISU, like early morning opening, and she would come in for breakfast at breakfast. I say breakfast.
Right,
it's our mom.
Mom.
I'm sorry. Breakfast. When we first started hanging out and knowing each other, and I think I'm smiling, but I guess I'm not. And she's like, I thought you hated me. I'm like, no, that's just my face. I'm sorry. But
I think being able to listen is a very important one to me. Well, yes, I do enjoy, honesty is up there, but I think right now in my life, I'm realizing a lot of people that I interact with, they don't actually listen to you. Do you know what I'm talking about? When somebody's you can read their eyes are dead, or they're thinking about other things, and then the conversation, it's never in response to you. It is just continuing what they want to say. And that's starting to get to me. Ain't nobody got time for that. While I'll listen to you, but it needs to be a two-way street, right? So, anyway, all right. So, last episode, we were giving away this awesome project bag from Spin Agains on Etsy, who is a newer, I believe, shop. And that is, oh my gosh, if I'm not going to drop all my threads over here. That is Crystal from Spin Agains. And boy, you guys really liked this project bag. So I asked you to go on her shop and take a look, and you can flip it. Yeah, it's got different fabrics. This is a lot of work to piece these together. So this is the normal size project bag. It's got a lavender wool ball in there. And I asked you to tell me which item in her shop do you like most. And the winner that was randomly drawn before we recorded was number 36, the Frosted Cow, and that is Lori, and she said she really enjoyed the Witch Patchwork Bag. So, Lori, I highly recommend you go on to Crystal's shop and go pick up that Witch Project Bag, Patchwork Project Bag, but you also are the winner of this. So, Lori, if you would please contact me, Dramatic Knits, via Ravelry, and let me know your first and last name, mailing address, and email address so I can send you tracking. I'll get this out to you as soon as I can. All right, so moving right along. We encourage you to post any of your finished objects for the month of September into our September 2018 Race to the Finished Object contest. You do not have to have started the project in September, but anything you finish in that month, you can post a picture. Post each finished object separately as its own post, as each finished object is its own entry. We will have a wonderful physical prize pulled from our donations in this closet behind us, as well as a pattern from our featured designer, who this month is Corrado Lark. So, and he has his own YouTube channel as well, Corrado Lark. So, we're going to move into center stage. First things first, I want to show you our October colorway of the month. I put a teaser pic up on Instagram this weekend, and this is actually one we've pulled from the vaults from a year ago, but this is called Spiced Apple Cider. And this was an exclusive colorway we did last year for Jimmy Bean's microbrew club, and it's been a year, and we really loved this colorway. So it layers kind of a red and gold with some flecks of a dark brown, those spices in spiced apple cider. So super excited. This right here is on our DK weight base, and if you're interested, my swatch is a little damp. I gotta lay it back out. I blocked it this morning. Here's what it looks like knit up. So Andy was thinking might be what he wants a sweater knit in, and I was like, well, I wanted a sweater knit out of this. So you can see it there. So yeah, enjoying that. That's our new colorway. Pre-orders for this will go up on October 1st. While I am traveling, Mandy is not, so she is going to get all the pictures taken and get those up and open at 10 a.m. Central Time on October 1st. Pre-orders will be available on all of our bases and will stay open through the 8th. And everything will ship out no later than the 15th of October. Excuse me.
Do you like apple cider?
I do, but I haven't had it in a long time because I won't just buy it. I guess I had some last year. I don't know who bought some, but they had it in like a gallon jug. But whenever I've had it, it's always got to be like hot at like a farm. You know what I mean? I remember, God, it's been years because I remember my dad taking me, and I had like hot apple cider at like the pumpkin farm or the pumpkin patch.
See, so. I remember when I was a kid too, but it was when Grandpa and Grandma brought me one time to Brookfield Zoo with that whole family, and they were selling it, but I burnt my tongue because it was so hot.
I do have to say, I do enjoy Starbucks hot apple cider. Wow.
I'm a Dunkin' Donuts girl, and he's Starbucks, so.
I like Dunkin' Donuts too when I can find it. It's just not as readily available. All right. So let's quickly recap about the Leading Men Fiber Arts retreat called Knitting at the Estate next September. It's going to be September 19th through the 22nd. We do have a website, knittingattheestate.com. While it is very basic right now with no information on there, I'm going to be working on that. It just takes time. We are in the process of selecting and putting out contracts for our teachers. So once we have contracts in hand, I'll let you know about that. Signups will be right after the beginning of the new year, and it will be a lottery system. We will have 75 spots available at the retreat. 50 will stay on site. 25 will be in charge of either traveling in for the day or securing their own hotel. And we're super excited. So planning things out, and Mandy's got lots of things to work on, but yeah, it'll be good. If you want to stay in the know about all things Leading Men Fiber Arts, including the retreat, we highly recommend that you sign up for our newsletter. You can do so by visiting our website, leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com, and a pop-up should show up, but if it doesn't, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and it says newsletter, or you can do so from our Facebook page, which you should like our Facebook page if you haven't, but on the left-hand side, under tabs, you will see a newsletter sign up there too. All right, upcoming shows this weekend. We have 2 events back-to-back before we come back home. We are going to be traveling up to West Branch, Michigan for the Northern Michigan Lamb and Wool Festival. We were there last year, and it was an enjoyable event, so we are going back. Unfortunately, Mandy was with me last year. She is not traveling up with us this year, but since Andy's full-time, he'll be with us. She'd much rather be with the dogs, I think, anyway. And so we're going to be vending there on Saturday and Sunday. That is September 29th through 30th, again at West Branch, Michigan at the fairgrounds. Then we will be traveling down to Charlotte, Michigan on Monday and setting up for a trunk show at the Yarn Garden in Charlotte, Michigan. I believe I am teaching a boomerang class on Monday night and a preview for those taking the class of our trunk show Monday night, and then the trunk show will be there all day on Tuesday during normal shop hours. So if you can stop on in, please do so, and visit the Yarn Garden, and that'll be on October 1st and 2nd, and then we're home for about a week and a half before it all goes crazy. So crazy. But anyway, that's pretty much it for us in terms of Leading Men Fiber Arts. Again, check the shop on a regular basis if you're interested, And I do get a lot of questions emailed. If you do not see a colorway listed on the shop, that does not mean that we do not dye it anymore. It simply means we do not have that colorway available on any basis for immediate shipment, like currently dyed up, ready to be shipped out. So if you don't see it listed, you can always place a custom order. There's a tab at the top of our website. Just click that tab, fill out the form. Once we receive the completed form, we will send you an invoice via PayPal, and once that's paid, your order usually ships within a week to 10 days after payment. So. Anything you want to add?
I was gonna say, just to add something, I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay.
Awkward.
I'm just trying to be like Mr. Rogers, okay? Alright.
Alright, we're going to sign off because Andy made chili today, and I need some chili in my tummy, and we also made a strawberry cake with lemon frosting, and that strawberry lemonade cake needs to happen. You're more than welcome to stay. We invited you.
No, but you should have put some of the lemon vodka in the frosting.
I would have watered it down, though.
No, there's like alcoholic cupcakes and the alcohol's in the frosting and it's delicious. Okay.
Anyway, until we see you again in 2 weeks.
We hope you
Knit something
dramatic.